It's my brother and my blood, and I will die and kill for him if necessary.
I was like, what in the world? This world wasn't even like he said what?
My girl, got my kids in the truth. At first I didn't know what to do. At first I didn't know what to do. At first I didn't know what to do. Thinking how the funny you became. Cause they done show me the truth. Thinking how I shy, don't forget. get general when you're hollering. If I never caught you, I would've got caught with a lot of the still hating some problems. Don't know how to deal with the drama. Overread text, overread text, that's what you know, Muhammad. Shalom, Haba, Shimmy, Haba, Shop, Rock, the I ain't lying. The devil worked 7 times harder, but that don't mean I'll stop trying. This brother, you gotta keep it real. If you gotta probably put it to the side. We ain't keeping no secrets. They ain't got to never try to hide. Had to get about the world. Had to eat with my girl. Got my kids to the truth. At first I didn't know what to do. At first I didn't know what to do. At first I didn't know what to do. Thinking how a funny you became. Cause they done show you the truth.
Commencing at a siren, any and all crime, including murder, will be legal for 12 continuous
I'll never
hours.
believe it. I honestly waited. I made that decision of being the truth. The harder I go, the more that I struggle. That shit break me hard. I stuck in the school. I wanna be famous. I'm never when I always get home. I live in the kid. It was down this time when I could have been dead, but I really was dead. You can raise me young. My head is more really ass backwards. White man's worse, smoother than butter. Did it from the water. Of course, then I'ma walk up my culture. I've been being a vulture. In the world, trying to get more than wine. Gucci, so we part of everything that's in the commercial. Trying to study all these precepts. Like a rehearsal. These fake people got defects. They ain't got no rebuttal. Man, sure, I'ma be next to the kingdom. I'm done with no turned up on these niggas. Get the truth, I gotta stay humble. Had to get about the world. Had to eat with my girl. Got my kids in the truth. At first I didn't know what to do. At first I didn't know what to do. At first I didn't know what to do. Thinking how a funny you became. Cause they done show me the truth.
Blessed be our new founding fathers and America, a nation reborn. May God be with you all.
Fuck you, white man.
Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Barakatah to all the brothers, Yahweh Shamar Latah Bashem Yahweh Shai to all the sisters. I'm Precinct Officer Rob Mayam of the ISUPK under Commanding General Yohana. We come out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. And as always, we teach the blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians are God's chosen people, and the white man is the goddamn devil that this Bible speaks of. Today, we're going to talk about slavery in America today. Okay, today, how we're going to talk about how it was back then in the 16, 17, 1800s, and how slavery still is alive in America today. Okay, before we get started, first give me the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1 and verse 9. We're going to start right there. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 9.
Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun.
Read that again.
Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 9. The thing that have been.
The things that have been. That means that the things that have already happened in the past, those are the things that have been. Read.
It is that which shall be.
So things that have happened in the past that have been, this shall be. That means that this will happen again. Read.
And that which is done is that which shall be done.
So those things that have already been done are things that will be done again. Read.
And there is no new thing under the sun.
So nothing is new under the sun. So everything that has happened in the past is happening right now. And there's nothing new under the sun. Okay? You always hear a lot of people talking about why do we dwell on slavery and blame slavery for the conditions that our black people are in today? You know, they say that, that it was so long ago and we should move on from this, that we should forget about this. Well, the truth is that slavery is a part of our history as Black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. And in order for blacks to wake up and understand who we are as a nation of people, we must teach and remember our history. And slavery is part of our history. And this is something that we have to remember. All right. Now, let's get one thing straight. Slavery isn't something that has passed away, because a lot of times people think here in America that slavery, that nobody is no longer in slavery because the Emancipation Proclamation has been passed, and the white man says that, that we aren't in slavery anymore and he's abolished slavery. But don't get it twisted. our blacks and Hispanics and Native American Indians, we are still in slavery today, and slavery still exists in America today. Now, let's go back a little bit. All right, I just want to go back over a little bit of history. Okay, during the slave era, back in the 1800s. Well, actually, the slave trade actually began back in the 1600s. But we're just going to go back to the 1800s. You know, in the 5 major cotton states in the South, more than half of all capital and investments were slaves. Slaves were the biggest commodity that people had at this time. Okay, the white slave owners' biggest profits came from free labor. That's how they make all their money, is because of free labor. Okay, so the more slaves they had to do the free labor, the more wealthy they became. This is how these white slave owners became wealthy, because they had all this free labor. Okay, the cotton economy was the largest economy at that time. And the engine that made this cotton economy thrive so successfully was slavery. That's why everybody made so much money on this cotton trade, is because of slavery. All right. Somebody give me Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 12. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 12. You got the mic up? The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 12.
Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 12. Woe to him that believeth a town with blood. And
read that again.
Woe to him that believeth a town with blood, and establisheth a city by iniquity.
Read that again.
Woe to him that believeth a town.
Read that again. Read how it's written.
Woe to him that believeth.
That what?
Woe to him that believeth.
That what?
Oh, that buildeth, Salakia, a town with blood.
Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood. So when you build a town with blood, what does that mean when you build a town with blood? When you're building a town with blood, that means that you're using the blood, the sweat, and the tears off the backs of the slaves that's building that town with you. Okay, woe means destruction. Okay, the scripture says woe. That means destruction to him that buildeth a town with blood. That's what the white man did with our native blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indian people. They build their towns off the blood, the back, the sweat, the death of our people. Read.
And establisheth a city by iniquity.
And establish a city by iniquity. Iniquity is sin. Okay, when you're using the blood and the backs of blacks, Hispanics, or any other people to build your town, that's establishing your town with iniquity, with sin. Okay, one of the things that the white man is very skillful at is being a hunter. Okay, that's one thing that we have to understand, because that's one of the blessings that the Lord gave Esau, to be a hunter. He hunts by robbing, raping, killing, and building cities off the blood and the backs of blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. That's what he does. Okay, remember the cotton industry in the South. You know, the cotton industry was one of the largest and fastest growing industries at that time. Okay, throughout this entire class, we're going to be talking about, and we're going to see how the white man has built his towns and his cities and his empire and off the blood and the backs of the blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. All right. Let's see. All right, let's just get a little history here. During these times in the 1800s, slaves lived in the worst conditions that one can even imagine. All right, when we were slaves back in those times, you know, we lived in the most horrific conditions and the worst conditions that we can even imagine today. Okay, when you think about the blacks and Hispanics today, we still live in some of the worst horrific conditions that you can even imagine. Okay, men and women were brutally beaten back then. They were tortured and raped daily. They worked extremely long hours, dehydrated and malnourished. You know, these are the conditions that blacks were put through during the transatlantic slave trade. All right, when we were back in that slavery period, we were going through all these bad conditions. You know, nobody treated us good. We were in the worst, poorest conditions, and we had one of the most horrific conditions that we were living in. All right, somebody give me Deuteronomy 28 and 48.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 48.
Use the mic.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he hath destroyed thee. Okay,
so slaves were physically and psychologically traumatized to keep them afraid and dependent on the white man. All right. That's the psychological conditioning that the white man has done to us. Okay. That yoke of iron upon their necks until destroyed is not only referring to a physical yoke of iron, but it's also a mental yoke that's put around our neck. Okay. Another thing that white man is extremely skilled at is psychological warfare. Okay, when we talk about that mental yoke of iron that he puts around our neck, that's the psychological warfare that the white man does on our people. You have a question, Ak?
So that could be for the Christians too.
What do you mean?
Like they so brainwashed by the white man, they still believe in what the white man taught them.
Well, Con, I got you. That's one of the psychological warfare that they use on blacks and Hispanics and Native American Indians today is the Christians and the Catholic Church. Okay? That's like a drug. That drug right there is worse than crack. You know what I'm saying? Because that has us, you know, people in America today, they believe it's like a yoke of iron. I mean, it's like the iron that's seared on your brain, as the scripture says. You know, when we learn about these false doctrines, our people, they start understanding these things, and that's all that they've ever heard. And it's like a seared iron. You know, when there's a seared iron, when an iron is like when you take a shirt and you iron on that shirt and you leave that iron, it leaves that stain that you can't get out. Well, that's what Christianity is. Christianity is like that stain that people have because they're so conditioned to understanding that this is the way that things are and this is what the Bible is talking about. So that is part of the psychological warfare that the white man does use to keep our people in order and to keep that yoke of iron on our black people's neck. Okay? Now, let me read a little portion of this book that's called, you got the book over there. It's called The Willie Lynch Letters. It's what's the title of that book? Read in the mic, brother.
The Willie Lynch Letter and the Making of a Slave.
The Willie Lynch Letter and the Making of a Slave. Now, this is just an example of the psychological warfare that the white man has done to black men and black women to keep them in order and to keep that yoke of iron on their neck. Go ahead and read what you got, brother.
No Negro, whether slave or free, could ever be considered a citizen of the United States.
Okay, this is the founding fathers back here. When they were talking about all men shall be treated equally, This wasn't applying to the black and Hispanic man here in America. This applied to the white man and their people. Read that again.
No Negro, whether slave or free, could ever be considered a citizen of the United States.
So the white man never wanted us to become citizens of this United States. They didn't want us to be part of this United States. So when you read the Constitution of the United States, this Constitution has nothing to do with the black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian man. They wrote this Constitution based on their people, the white people. That's what this Constitution was about. Read that again, brother.
No Negro, whether slave or free, could ever be considered a citizen of the United States.
So they did not want no black man to ever become a citizen of the United States, because if you read the Constitution of today, a black man is still considered 3/5 of a man. He's not considered a whole man. Okay? So this Constitution of the United States wasn't intended for blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. Okay? Our Constitution is this Bible. That's what our Constitution is. All right? Keep reading, brother. Go to page 10.
Let's make a slave the origin and development of a social being called the Negro.
Okay, this is talking about this man called Willie Lynch. He wants to, he put together this book called Let's Make a Slave. So he's giving instructions to the white slave masters on how to make a slave. Okay, keep reading, brother.
Let us make a slave. What do we need? First of all, we need a black nigger man, a pregnant nigger woman, and her baby nigger boy. Second, we will use the same basic principle that we use in breaking a horse, combined with some more sustaining factors. We reduce them from their natural state in nature.
Okay, so wait a minute. Let's just go back. The first thing he's talking about is we need a nigger man and a nigger woman and a nigger child. Okay, and we're going to break them in the same way we break in a horse. So they've always considered us to be some type of animal. They don't consider us to be humans. They look at us like we some type of animal. Okay, so back in the slave trade, that's how they considered us as well. When they sold us on auction blocks, they sold us as cattle. Okay, like we were just some type of cattle. That we would be butt naked up on the auction blocks. They would come and check the teeth, the back, how strong the men were, how pure, the women's bodies, and they would just, look at us like we were cattle. Okay, you got a question?
Why do they specifically say that we will use her baby, the nigger boy?
Okay, well, we're going to get into that. Okay, because this is a big part of understanding why we in these conditions and why our mentality is the way it is today, because they're going to use the nigger boy. Because the nigger boy, he is what's important for the black community to be strong today. Okay, so they have to make sure that that nigger boy is weak. Okay, so the psychological warfare behind this is they want to make his mind weak, but they want to make his back strong. They don't want him to be able to think for himself, but they want him to be able to work. Okay, but we're going to get into that as you continue to read. You're going to see the psychological warfare behind it. Keep reading.
Combined with some, we will use the same basic principle that we used in breaking a horse, combined with some more sustaining factors. We reduce them from their natural state in nature, whereas nature provides them with the natural capacity to take care of their needs.
Okay, so we're going to reduce them from their natural state. The natural state of a black man is to protect and to provide for his wife and his family. That's the natural nature of a black man to do that. But we're going to reduce this. We're going to make this something worse than what it is. We're going to make sure that he doesn't want to protect his wife. He doesn't want to protect his children. So we're going to reduce this natural state. Keep reading.
Whereas nature provides them with the natural capacity to take care of their needs and the needs of their offspring. We break that natural string of independence from them and thereby create a dependency state to that we may be able to get from them useful production for our business and pleasure.
So now they're going to break that from the black man because his natural state is to provide and protect his family. Now the white man is talking about, we're going to break that. You know, we want to break him from being that protector of his family. We're going to break him and we're going to use this strong black man to provide for us and what we need to become successful in what we're trying to do. Keep reading. Just keep reading all the highlighted areas, brother.
For fear that our future generations may not understand the principles of breaking both horses and man.
Keep reading.
And lay down the art for if we are to sustain our basic economy, we must break both of the beasts together.
Okay, so here it's talking about in order for us to sustain our economy, we need to break down both just like we break down the horse to use the horse for the things that we need for the horse to do, we need to break down that black man too. We need to break him down so he can be useful for the uprise of our economy. Read.
The nigger horse and the horse. We understand that short-range planning in economics result in periodic economic chaos. So that to avoid turmoil in the economy, it requires us to have breeded and depth in long-range comprehensive planning, articulating both skill and sharp perception. We lay down the following principles for long-range comprehensive economic planning.
Okay, so this is the long-range economic principles and planning that the white man uses in order for him to become economically strong by breaking in the black man. Keep reading.
Number one, both horse and niggers are no good to the economy in the wild or natural state.
So the way that the black man is in his natural state, the white man says he is no good for my economy because he's not going to adhere to what I'm trying to tell him or what I'm trying to teach him. So they're still comparing us to an animal. Just like a horse is wild in the wilderness and you can't break that horse in, he's trying to say the black man is the same way. When he's in his own natural state, he is wild and uncontrollable. Keep reading.
Number two, both must be broken and tied together for orderly production.
So in order for you to get some order out of this black man, you got to break him. Read.
Number three, for orderly futures, special and particular attention must be paid to the female and the youngest offspring.
Okay, so now he figured out that in order for us to break this black man in and to strip him of his strength and to strip him of his natural order of wanting to protect his family and provide for his family, we have to focus on the female. Read.
Number four, both must be crossbred to produce a variety and division of labor.
Okay, so now they want to crossbreed. When they want to crossbreed the black man, that means they want to put some white blood into this baby. They want to put some white blood into this too. Okay, read that again.
Number four, both must be crossbred to produce a variety and division of labor.
To produce a variety and division of labor. When you look at all the black slavery movies, you see that there's a division between light-skinned blacks and dark-skinned blacks. Okay? All the dark-skinned blacks, they always put in the fields to do the hard, rigorous labor. But the light-skinned blacks, they gave easier jobs. They put them in the big house, what they called the big house, to be butlers and maids, and to do much easier work that's in the big house. So they were causing division amongst black people at that time. You got a question?
And that's like to say, is that like to say that's because they know their blood is circulating up in there.
Well,
We're gonna treat them a little better. We're gonna still treat them bad. We're gonna treat them a little bit better. They come in the house and be a slave.
well, that's the reason why they were doing that, because they wanted to bring a division between us people. Because when you divide us, you're gonna start causing conflict between us. So that's what they were doing. They were crossbreeding black men. They were crossbreeding black men, and they were crossbreeding the black women as well. Because the white slave owners, they were having sex with the white women, and they were also crossbreeding the black man with the white women, and they were creating a different I want to say color of black man. It's the lighter skinned, because it was closer to white. You see what I'm saying? So they were keeping the dark skinned, chocolate colored man and woman out in the fields doing the rigorous hard work, and they were keeping the lighter skinned people in the houses doing much easier work, and that was causing division amongst our people. Okay? Keep reading.
5. Both must be taught to respond to a peculiar new language.
Keep going.
Number 6. Psychological and physical instruction of containment must be created for both.
Keep reading.
We hold the above 6 cardinals as truth to be self-evident.
Read that again.
We hold the above 6 cardinals as truth to be self-evident, based upon the following discourse concerning the economics of breaking and trying the horse and nigger together. Okay,
so this is talking about, this is all about their economics. Okay? Everything that they're doing here, they're trying to create, they're trying to treat blacks as if they're animals, and they're comparing it to the horse, and they're trying to create a better economic system for them. They're trying to show how we can use a black man and we can manipulate their minds and psychological warfare to get them to think and to act the way that we want them to think and act, in order for the white man to get more productivity out of them to increase their economics. Okay, keep reading.
All inclusive of the 6 principles laid down above. Neither principles alone will suffice for good economics. All principles must be employed for the orderly good of the nation. Accordingly, both a wild horse and a wild or natural nigger is dangerous, even if captured. Okay, so they're comparing a horse to a black man. Well, they calling a black man a nigger. Okay, just like when you capture a horse, you know how wild he is, and he's very dangerous, and they're comparing the black man the same way. They say when you capture this black man, that black man is dangerous as well. Keep reading. For they will have the tendency to seek their customary freedom. So that's what a black man always wants to do. He wants to get free. Just like the wild horse is trying to get free, they're comparing the wild horse to the black man. When he's captured, he's going to do whatever it takes for him to get free from that bondage that he's in. Keep reading. And in doing so, might kill you in your sleep. See, and they already know that black man, he will kill you, white man, in your sleep, just so he can get free. He'll wait for you to go to sleep because he knows that he's captured, just like a horse will do whatever he can to get free from that bondage. Well, the black man will do the same goddamn thing, and he'll even come up in your house and he'll kill you in your sleep. Keep reading. They are dangerous near the family house.
See, so they say he's dangerous. They didn't even let him come up in the house. That's why they created the crossbreeding, because when they crossbred them, they put the lighter skinned people in the house, and that way that they can psychologically train them the way that they wanted to train them and create the fear that they wanted to create while they were in that house. But they know that field nigga out there. They know how bad they was treating that nigga out there in that field. You let that nigga up in my house, that motherfucker will kill you. Okay? Go on. Keep reading.
Above all, you cannot get them to work in this natural state. Hence, both the horse and the nigger must be broken. That is, break them from one form of mental life to another. Keep the body and take the mind.
There you go. That was their whole goal right there, is to keep the body and take the mind. They wanted the black man to be stupid, to be submissive, to not open his mouth, to not have a thought, to not buck, to not do anything, to not even speak, but to use his body. They wanted to use his body because they know how strong a black man is. When you think about it, man, any other nation of people, if they were put in the conditions that a black man was put in slavery, they wouldn't have been able to survive. But a black man is so goddamn strong. You see what I'm saying? And they wanted to use his strength, but they didn't want him to think. They just wanted him to do what they said to do. Okay? Keep reading.
In other words, break the will to resist.
Break the will to resist. That's what he was doing. They was making the black man so afraid to resist by the unconscionable things that they would do to him. Okay? And we're going to get into some of that as we continue to read. Read.
Now the breaking process is the same for the horse and the nigger.
So now they're talking about breaking the black man's will. Okay? Now listen how they talk about breaking the black man's will. Keep reading.
Only slightly varying in degrees. But as we said before, you must keep your eye focused on the female and the offspring of the horse and the nigger. Okay,
so he's saying keep an eye on that female, because that female is the key on how you break that black man. It's through the black female. Keep reading.
A brief discourse in offspring development will shed light on the key to sound economic principles. Pay little attention to the generation of original breaking, but concentrate on future generations. Therefore, if you break the female, she will break the offspring in its early years of development.
See, that's the key right there. When you break the female, she will break her offspring. Her offspring are her children, the black man and the black woman. She will break them. She will break that black man because the woman is afraid of her child being killed. So she's going to teach him, keep your mouth shut. Don't say anything. You just work hard. Let me do the talking. Because she doesn't want her son to say a damn word. Because when he speaks, he's going to get killed. Okay? So we need to focus on that black woman because she will teach her offspring on how to behave the way we want them to behave. You got a question? Go ahead.
This reminds me of when I used to run the streets. My mom used to always be like, if you ever get pulled over or anything, just don't say nothing. Just yes, sir, to the white man. Just no, sir, yes, sir. Don't, because they're going to shoot you. Right?
That's right. That's right. That's that psychological conditioning. Okay? Keep reading because they want to eliminate the mind and keep the body. You see? Keep reading.
When the offspring is old enough to work, she will deliver it up to you. For her normal female protective tendencies will have been lost in the original breaking process.
So her Read that again.
When the offspring is old enough to work, she will deliver it up to you for her normal female protective tendencies.
So her normal female protective tendencies. The female protective tendencies is to protect her children by any cost necessary. Okay? So she will deliver her children up to you, white man. But she will teach her children how to react and how to respond so they won't get beaten and killed by this white man. Okay? Keep reading.
Will have been lost in the original breaking process.
Read.
For example, take the case of the wild stud horse, a female horse, and an already infant horse, and compare the breaking process with two captured nigger males in their natural state. A pregnant nigger woman with her infant offspring, take the stud horse, break him for limited containment completely. Break the female horse until she becomes very gentle, whereas you or anybody can ride her in comfort. Breed the mare.
Okay, wait a minute. Let's just go back to that right there. Read that again. About
Take the stud horse.
Yeah.
Break him for limited containment.
Okay, so let's take the stud horse. The stud horse is the male horse. Let's break him for limited containment. Let's just contain him. Let's limit the ability of what we do to contain him. Read.
Completely break the female horse.
Completely break the female horse. So they're saying completely break the black female woman. Completely break her. Okay, read.
Until she becomes very gentle.
So she becomes very gentle. Read.
Whereas you or anybody can ride her in comfort.
So anybody can ride this female in comfort. Anybody can persuade her. Anybody can do whatever they want to this black woman in comfort. Let's break her. Okay, read.
Breed the mare and the stud until you have the desired offspring. Then you can turn the stud to freedom until you need him again.
Keep reading.
Train the female horse, whereby she will eat out of your hand.
So train the female so she will eat out of your hand. Okay, so she'll do whatever you want her to do. Okay, he's telling the white man, train this black woman until she eats out of your hand, meaning that she trusts you. When you put your hand out to a horse to feed him, when he eats out of your hand, he trusts you. Okay, well, train this female, train this black woman to trust you. Okay, read.
And she will train the infant horse to eat out of your hand also.
So now she's training her sons and her daughters to eat out of that white man's hands too, to trust him. He's our protector. All right, trust him. Read.
When it comes to breaking the uncivilized nigger, use the same process.
Use the same process. Read.
But vary the degree and step up the pressure so as to do a complete reversal of the mind. Take the meanest and the most restless nigger, strip him of his clothes.
Okay, so this is what they do. They want the black woman to trust the white man to be her protector. Okay, when it says that, train her so she will eat out of your hand, that's meaning train her that she'll trust you. Okay, now she has to trust that that white man will be able to be the one that protect her and not the black man. So what they would do is read that again from the top.
Take the meanest, right there.
Yeah.
Take the meanest and most restless nigger, strip him off his clothes.
So they're talking about take the meanest. That means the baddest, the toughest, the most powerfulest black man that there is in your group right here. the one that nobody wants to fuck with, the one that's meaner than anybody else, the one that can whoop everybody's ass. Get that nigga right there. Let's grab that motherfucker right there. Read.
Strip him off his clothes in front of the remaining male niggers.
So we going to control this nigga right here. We going to grab him. We going to strip off all his clothes. Read.
In front of the remaining male niggers.
And we going to do this in front of the remaining, all the other male niggas, because all the other brothers know that, man, this is the toughest brother we got in our little crew right here. So they going to grab that toughest one in front of all the other ones and strip him down. Read.
The female and the nigger infant.
So they going to strip him down in front of everybody. Not only the other brothers, but the sisters and all the kids too. So everybody can see this. Read.
Tar and feather him.
Tar and feather him. You know what tar and feather means? That means that they pour this hot tar over top of him and they throw chicken feathers on him to embarrass him. Okay, read.
Tie each leg to a different horse.
So they tie each leg to a different horse. So they'll have a horse on this side and a horse on this side facing that way and a horse on this side facing that way. And they tie his legs to these two horses. Read.
Face in opposite directions.
Faced in opposite directions. Read.
Set him afire.
And then they catch him on fire. So now they set the brother on fire. Now, this is the strongest brother. Okay, this is that brother that, it's like, if I want a brother to protect me, this is the one I'm going to go to. Because I know this is a tough dude. Ain't nobody going to mess with me around this nigga right here. But that's the one that they got. The one that you're going to depend on that's going to be able to protect you. This is the one that I got. That's the one that they did. Keep reading.
And beat both horses to pull him apart.
Now they're going to beat both horses to pull him apart. Do you know what that means? That means they tied his legs up. They got one horse facing this way, one horse facing that way in opposite direction, and then they going to whoop the horses so they go in their directions and they pull this brother apart. Okay? Keep reading.
In front of the remaining niggers.
In front of everybody. The remaining niggas is the nigga men, the nigga women, and the niglet babies. Keep reading.
The next step is to take a bullwhip and beat the remaining nigger male to the point of death in front of the female and the infant.
So after they took the strongest black man that they would depend on to protect them, after they done ripped him apart, they humiliated him by putting tar and feather in him and ripped him apart by tying him to two horses. After they do that, now they're going to beat the other black man to death. Well, just before death. Read that again.
The next step is to take a bullwhip and beat the remaining nigger male to the point of death.
So now they're going to take the remaining nigga males and beat them to the point of death. That's like right before death. They just going to beat him until he ain't got nothing left in him right before he dies. And the reason that he does that is to show you that, look, this man can't protect you. This man, even though that's our natural nature to protect our woman and our family, but you know what? Look what we can do to this man. He can't protect you. But you know what? The white man says, I can protect you. You see? So you have to trust in me. Don't trust in this nigga right here. He can't do nothing for you. Okay? Keep reading.
In front of the female and the infant. Don't kill them, but put fear of God in him.
Put the fear of God in him. Don't kill him, but put the fear of God in him. Read.
For he can be useful for future breeding.
So now he could be useful for future breeding. Don't kill this black man because we need him. We need him to produce more little nigglets. We need more slaves. You know, we can use him to produce other kids. Read.
The breaking process of the African woman.
This is the breaking process of the African woman. And this is talking about the so-called black woman. Okay, this is the Israelite woman right here. This is the breaking process of this woman. Keep read.
Take the female and run a series of tests on her to see if she will submit to your desires willingly.
Okay, so first thing they're going to do is they're going to take this black woman and they're going to run some tests on her to see how submissive this she is. Read.
Test her in every way because she is the most important factor for good economics.
Okay, so the black woman is the most important factor in good white man economics. Okay, because this is how we're going to determine how we can make good slaves and to continue to be prosperous in the slave trade and using these black men to do free labor for us. Okay, she's the most important part right here on how we're going to condition the black man to fall in line. This is what we need to do to make sure that the black man falls in line. Okay, because the slavery, the production of the black man is more important than anything else. So in order for us to get the production of this black man up, we need to make sure that that black woman is in line with what we're doing. Okay? Read.
If she shows any sign of resistance in submitting completely to your will, do not hesitate to use the bullwhip on her.
So they're saying if she doesn't completely submit to you, use the bullwhip on her, tie her up to a tree, and whoop her back. Read.
To extract the last bit of bitch out of her.
So to extract the last little bitch out of her, because they're saying if she don't comply, she's a bitch. You know. So in order to contract the last little bitch out of her, tie her up to a tree and beat that bitch out of her. Read.
Take care not to kill her.
But don't kill her, though. Just beat her short to death. Read.
For in doing so, you spoil good economics.
Because if you kill her, you're going to spoil your economics. Because we need her. You can't kill her. You got to beat her short to death so that she knows she got to submit. And she got to teach her sons and daughters to submit. Read.
When in complete submission, she will train her offspring in the early years to submit to labor when they become of age.
That's what I just said. If you just you beat her short of death, she'll make sure, she teaches her kids, keep your mouth shut. Don't go against this white man. Do what he wants you to do. Submit to him. Be submissive in all kinds of ways. Don't buck him at all. She teaches her sons and her daughters that because she knows, the natural state of a black woman is to protect her children. So that's what she's going to do. That's why it's so important for him to work on that black woman because she trains the offspring. Okay? Read.
Understanding is the best thing. Therefore, we shall go deeper into this area of the subject matter concerning what we have produced here in this breaking of the female nigger. We have reversed the relationships in her natural uncivilized state. She would have a strong dependency on the uncivilized nigger male.
So now they reverse the roles of the man and the woman. Now they make the woman to be the one that's in charge. And they make the man to be submissive to the woman. Okay, that's how they reverse that stage. Okay, read.
And she would have a limited protective dependency toward her independent male offspring.
Okay, so now she has a limited feeling of protection because she know that black man can't protect me all the way. But this white man can. This white man can protect me. But, my husband here, he can't protect me. And that's the psychological trauma and the psychological warfare that they put on this black woman. And she teaches this to her sons. You see? Keep reading.
And she would have a limited protective dependency toward her independent male offspring and will raise female offspring to be dependent like her.
So you will raise your females to be dependent like you because now you're not dependent on your black man, but now you're dependent on that white man. So you're going to raise your females to be dependent on the white man as well. You know, our brothers can't protect us, but you know what? The white man, he can. He can protect us. He can do what we want. All we have to do is submissive to him and do everything that we want to do for him. And if you learn how to do this, then he will be able to protect us. Okay? But our black man can't protect us. So this is what she's teaching her daughters, to be submissive to the white man as well, because he's our protector. Keep reading.
Nature had provided for this type of balance. We reverse nature by burning and pulling one civilized nigger apart and bullwhipping the other to the point of death, all in her presence, by her being left alone, unprotected, with the male image destroyed. The ordeal caused her to move from her psychological dependent state to a frozen independent state.
Okay, so now that she sees that my black husband can't protect me anymore. So now she's like, she goes from that state of believing that her black man can protect her. Now she's in a frozen state because she doesn't know where to go now. My husband can't protect me anymore. So she's in a frozen state at this point. Read.
In this frozen psychological state of independence, she will raise her male and female offspring in reverse roles. So
now she's going to raise her female and her male offspring in reverse roles. Reverse roles is that, now the man ain't in charge of the family. The man ain't the authority of the family. The man doesn't control his family. But the woman controls the family now, because you know what, son? You need to keep your mouth shut, because if you don't be quiet, the white man's going to kill you. So you need to just keep your mouth shut. Let me run everything. Let me talk to the white man. Let me be the voice of reason for our family, and just let me talk for you. And you just be quiet, and you just continue to work and work hard, and you do what the white man tells you to do. Come on.
And this is why it's easier for a black woman to get a job today, to get on county, to get paid for the kids.
Oh, most definitely.
From the white man.
Exactly, because that's the conditions that they put our people in today. Because the system is raised. I mean, the condition that we're in today, it's to destroy our black men. Okay, and that's why there is no opportunities for black men today. All the opportunities that they have for jobs is for the black women, not for the black man. They give opportunities for education to the black women. There's more black. If you look at the statistics on African Americans, so-called African Americans that's got college educations today, it's predominantly the black women, because they want the black women to have the educations. They want the black women to have the jobs. It's easy for a black woman to get a job today, but it's almost impossible for a black man to get a job today. Unless you look homosexual, you know what I'm saying? Because when you just think about it, look at all the what they call the service industries today. The customer service industries today. That's the majority of a lot of the jobs that they provide for blacks and Hispanics today. Okay, if you're a black man and you look like me with a fucking beard, that's rough talking, they're not going to hire me for any type of customer service position at all. I can't work in a restaurant as a waiter. I can't work as a cashier. I can't work in any type of customer service field, because I don't fit that profile that they want. But let me be a gay, flaming, homosexual looking dude with a smooth face that's talking all effeminate. That's the type of man that they want. So most black men ain't like that at all. You know, you got a nigga that's got a beard, that's hard, that, you know, they don't want that at all, man. You know, and that's them promoting homosexuality as well. You know, that's another psychological weapon that they use to promote their advancement of the economics of economics. You know, they want to get all our black men to be gay. They want to be all our black men to be homosexual or have effeminate spirits. You see what I'm saying? So they won't hire, you know, a strong, rugged-looking black man to do any type of customer service work. You know, and a lot of the work that's happening today is customer service work for our people. You know, McDonald's and all these fast food restaurants, and you know, it's all customer service that they hiring our people for. But you know what? If you're gay, or if you're homosexual looking, or if you're conforming to you're being white man approved, then they will hire you. You know, but you know, we teach that we have to come out of her. We have to come out of white America. We don't want to be like the white man. We don't want to be gay. We don't want to have an effeminate spirit as a black man. You know, if that's what it's going to take for me to get this job, I don't want the goddamn job. You see what I'm saying? But they're giving the opportunities to the black women. All the black women have the opportunities to jobs. And this is what's the trip about it, is because, you know, the white woman gauges the value of her man based on how much money that he makes. Okay? So they teach our black women to gauge the value of your man by how much money he makes. But America is not giving no opportunities for the black man to make any kind of money. The black man don't get no piece of this pie in America. You know, they're trying to keep the black man down by destroying our families, destroying our homes, keeping the black man in prison, keeping them, you know, under these conditions that are just intolerable. You know what I'm saying? So, but they teaching our women, that's how you gauge the value of your man. You know, is he working? Does he have a job? Does he have a career? Is he paying the bills? Is he doing this? Is he doing that? But they're not giving no opportunities for any black man in America today. You understand what I'm saying? There are some that get that opportunity, you know, but when you look at our nation as a whole, the black man does not have any opportunity at all. You know, I mean, you know, you see all these black men out here in the streets, motherfuckers ain't going to hire them, you know, and a black man actually wants to work. He wants that job. You know, he wants a job. He wants to work. He wants to be able to bring a paycheck home to take care of his children. He wants this, you know, but they try to make it seem like we are so lazy. You know, according to statistics, the black man is even in the split households, the black man has more relationships with his kids than any other nation of people on the face of this earth. You know, the black man wants to be there for his son. He wants to raise his boy. He wants to raise his daughters. The black man wants to be there for his family. You understand what I'm saying? But because of this psychological warfare that we're dealing with here, that's why we can't get to the state that where we want to be at, because the white man wants to control everything that we do, and he wants to condition us. Okay? Where we at there? You got you picking that up right there, Sawap? Okay, read from where you at.
Will raise her male and female offspring in reverse roles. For fear of the young male's life, she will psychologically train him to be mentally weak and dependent, but physically strong.
Okay, there you go right there. She will train her son to be mentally weak, but physically strong. So that means, boy, shut your mouth, do what the white man tells you, work hard, make that paycheck, but don't say nothing. Okay, keep reading.
Because she has become psychologically independent, she will train her female offspring to be psychologically independent as well.
Okay, so now she's psychologically independent. So she's going to train her daughter. You don't need no man. You know, You don't need no man to take care of you. The man can't take care of you. But the white man can protect you, but that black man, that nigga right there, that nigga can't do nothing for you. So she's independently strong because she's been able to have the things that the white man has given her in order to be able to take care of herself. So she's going to teach her daughters to be independent just like she is. Okay? I'm independent. I don't need a man. I can take care of myself. I can do bad all by myself. I can get a job. Nigga, you can't get no job. How you going to pay my goddamn bills? Nigga, you can't pay my bills. What are you supposed to do? But she's got all the opportunities. They done already stripped the opportunities for the black man, but they're giving them to the black women. Now they're making her independent to make her feel like, I don't need no man. I don't need that man in my life. I could do it bad all by myself. What I need you for? Nigga, you ain't working. You pay the cost to be the boss. Nigga, I'm making the money in this house right now. I run this shit here. You see, that's the reverse role right there. Okay, keep reading.
For fear of the young male's life, she will psychologically train him to be both mentally weak and dependent, but physically strong.
So she fears her son's life. So she's going to teach him, shut your mouth. Don't say nothing. Just work hard. Keep reading.
Because she has become psychologically independent, she will train her female offspring to be psychological independent as well.
Read.
What have you got? You've got the nigger woman out front and the nigger man behind and scared.
Yeah, so that's what you got now. You got the black woman out in front, and you got the black man running up underneath the skirt and listening to his woman. Okay? That's what you got at this point. Okay? You don't have the man ruling his household anymore. You ain't got the man, being the structure and the order in his household. You don't have the man being the spiritual leader in his household anymore. You got the woman as the backbone of the family. You got the woman doing these things. And when you look at any other nation of people, the man is the backbone of his family. The man rules his family. But when it comes to the black family, they put the woman out in the front. So when you tell the black man that the woman is a spiritual leader of the family, the woman is the backbone of the family, the woman is the ruler of the family, that's a direct disrespect to the black man. Because what you telling the black man is, you know what? You ain't got enough backbone to raise your own goddamn family, and you need a goddamn woman to be in your place. But they've psychologically conditioned us to understand that and to believe that. You see what I'm saying? Keep reading.
This is a perfect situation for sound sleep and economics. Before the breaking process, we had to be alert and on guard at all times. Now we can sleep soundly. For out of frozen fear.
Okay, let's go back right there. Now that the white man knows that he can psychologically control the woman to get her to train her black men, we can sleep soundly now. We don't have to worry about this black man coming up in the big house and killing us because we've already conditioned this black woman to teach her black son, shut up, keep your mouth shut. Don't try to do anything and just work hard. Don't buck this white man. He's the protector here. You understand what I'm saying? So now that he's conditioned this and he's put this into play, now the white man can sleep sound in his house. He don't have to be worried about that nigga coming up there and killing him and his family. You got a question?
I got a statement.
Go ahead.
That lets you know that the white man know that Israel, the children of the 12 tribes, is strong and powerful.
That's right. They know that the black man is strong and powerful. Come on, sis. Wait a minute. Give her the mic.
With everything that's going on in the world today, as far as police brutality,
Speak in the mic a little bit,
and them killing black men and women at an advanced rate. Do you believe that that's why that's happening? Because they fear the fact that we are waking up and knowing and realizing who we are and actually operating in the spirit of Yahweh Shah?
Oh, most definitely. That's why it's happening. Yeah, because they're going to do everything that they can do. You know, when you go to the book of Psalms chapter 83, let's somebody get that for me. Psalms chapter 83. The book of Psalms chapter 83. And I believe it's verse 3.
Psalms chapter 83, verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
Okay, they have taken crafty counsel against our people. Crafty counsel is like slick. When you're crafty, that means that you're doing underhand and you're meticulously taking counsel against our people. Okay, read.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
And they consult against thy hidden ones. The hidden ones are the 12 lost tribes in the nation of Israel. Okay, they take crafty counsel against us. That means that they read that and keep reading.
They have said, "Come and let us cut them off from being a nation."
Okay, so this is what they're saying. They confederate against us. When they confederate against us, that means that they all come together to be against us. Okay, and what they're saying is, come, let us cut them off from being a nation. They don't want us to understand who we are. So they're going to do everything that they possibly can to come against us and manipulate us with their smooth words. You understand what I'm saying? To come against us so we don't know who we are. Okay? Come on.
Okay.
Give her the mic.
Okay, so in a sense, it's like saying that the white man don't feel safe in this country no more.
The white man has never felt safe around black men. He knows that he has to control us psychologically in order for him to feel safe around us. Yeah. You know, because when you look at like history, when you look at things like, have you ever seen the movie about Nat Turner?
Yeah.
Well, Nat Turner, you know, they were afraid of Nat Turner because he started reading this Bible and he's like, wait a minute, you know, the white man is our enemy. You know, and he started seeing things in this Bible that was contrary to what the white man was trying to teach us. You see what I'm saying? So they know when we wake up, we are going to retaliate. You understand what I'm saying? So they don't feel safe. That's why they wanted to make sure that the black woman told her sons, you know, they wanted to make sure that they put the fear of God in her black son. Don't go in the white man's house and kill him because he's our protector and he'll end up killing the rest of our family and blah, 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 blah. Whatever the psychological warfare that he put in the black woman's head, she put into her sibling's head. So now he can feel eased to be able to sleep at night. You see, other than that, he knows because of all the wickedness that he's done to us that we're capable of coming up in there and killing him and his family. You see? You have a question? A statement?
Yeah, that's why they
Give him the mic.
Earlier when you first started reading, that's why they compared the black man to the horse. Like, I don't know if anybody here has ever dealt with a horse. I used to go with this guy named Roy. He was a professional buck horse and bull rider. I used to go with him to go horseshoe the horses out of the country. In Corslow, California. And the first time I ever dealt with a horse, he had a rope tied around the horse's neck. And he was changing the horseshoe out. And a rock had got into the horse's foot. And they had chopped up and started cracking the foot of the horse.
Right.
And, you know what I'm saying? When I was trying to hold that horse's head down, man, that horse was damn it, off the ground and throw me to the other side of the field. You know what I'm saying? The horse is strong as hell. So
Yeah.
when you make that comparison, I can understand his fear because when that horse was able to throw me around, I was scared as hell. I never dealt with a horse.
That's right.
Man, yeah, it's a scary situation that shows the fear of the white man for for black men.
Most High in Christ, because that strength that the black man has, you know, they've never seen no strength like that before. And they can't control that strength of a black man unless you psychologically control it. So that's where the psychological warfare came in. We got some more. Keep reading that, man.
A statement.
Go ahead.
Justin Lakey said they need us distracted and to keep winning in order for them to have order. Our battles are undefeated with the Most High.
That's right. You know, they have to keep us distracted. You know, that's why they keep us distracted with the bling bling, with the, yeah, the cars, the jewelry, you know, everything that they want to promote to us that's being successful here in America is what they distract us with. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't mean nothing. You understand? All the white women, all the parties, all the pool parties, all the dope, and all of that keeps us distracted, and that actually keeps us weak. Come on, you got something you want to say? Give him the mic.
So I had to laugh when you said white women, ain't no distraction.
But you know what? But white women is a distraction to black men. You know, whether we want to acknowledge it or not, women are a distraction to black men because, you know, when a black man becomes successful and he gets a white woman, that makes him feel like I've even made it even more. You know what I'm saying? Now I got me a white woman. I'm doing good now. I must be doing something right because I got this white woman now. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, let's keep reading where we're at.
Now we can sleep soundly, for out of frozen fear, his woman stands guard for us.
So now the black woman is standing guard for them. She's telling them, don't go in that house because you're gonna get killed. You know, don't try to do nothing to Massa because Massa will kill you. So the black woman is the one that's standing guard for the white man right now. Keep reading.
We cannot get past her. Early infant slave molding process.
So he can't get past her mama. Mama won't let him get past her. You see, because she's got so much concern about her kids. I don't want you to die, son. Put your ass back in the bed. Don't go in there. You know, she trains that black man that, you know, you can't fight this white man. So that's the guard of the white man right now is the black woman. Okay? Read.
He is a good tool, now ready to be tied to the horse at a tender age.
Keep reading.
By the time a nigger boy reaches the age of 16, he is soundly broken in and ready for a long life of sound and efficient work.
Okay, so now by the time the boy is 16, the mama has already raised him. She's already taught him. She's already told him, keep your mouth shut and just work. Don't say nothing. Let me do the talking. Because if you notice, you know, back in the slavery days, you know, whenever something, a disturbance came up, if the black man had anything to say to it, they would beat him, shut him up. They didn't want to hear nothing to say. But when the black woman said something, the slave master would listen to that black woman. You see? That's all part of the psychological trauma, okay? Let your mama speak for you. Don't you say a goddamn thing, because when you speak, I'm going to beat your ass. But let your mama talk for you. Come on, Washbot.
And if I might say, it's because he probably already done raped her.
It might be. He might already rape. He's already physically and mentally conditioned her. Give her the mic. Go ahead.
He might have a feeling or sentimental for her because of that.
Exactly, and that's exactly the case, because the white man might have already raped that woman already. Who knows how many of them white slaves that he done raped? And that's another aspect to it. Go ahead, sis.
Okay, so it sounds like to me, with him having the black woman speak in his place, it's almost like the white man was trying to deter the black man from approaching him like man to man.
Most definitely.
So it was a dehumanizing situation.
Exactly. That's why they just said that they reversed the roles. Because usually the roles is the man is the head of the family. The man speaks out for the family. The man is the one that confronts another man regarding his family. You see what I'm saying? But now they reverse the roles and they want the black man to shut your mouth and you just work hard. Let me speak for you because the white man will allow the black woman to talk.
So it's like, in a sense, so it's like pretty much like just sit back and that's why he adheres to what the woman says and not what the black man say.
Exactly. And that's why the situations are the way that they are here in America today. That's why the black woman has so much to say. That's why the black woman thinks that she is so independent because all the opportunities were afforded to her and they don't understand the psychologically conditioning that happened over the past 400 years to get her to that point. You see what I'm saying? So now she believes that I don't need no man. I'm independent. You know, this man don't mean nothing. Nigga, you can't do nothing for me. I can get a job. I can pay my bills. I don't need you to do nothing. You see, that's all psychological conditioning. Come on, Swap.
How do you begin to recondition and to heal the black woman from that type of, from that type of.
Man, we come into the UPK. That's how we condition now. We come into yeah, we come into the UPK and we teach women that what they need to do. We teach men how to be strong soldiers and how to be good husbands and good fathers and good, men and strong men of the Lord. That's how we do it. That's how we recondition them. You come into the UPK and we learn how to do this. We teach women how to be women. We teach women how to respect their husbands and their men and be submissive under their men. We teach the men how to rule their households. You come into the ISUPK and that's where you get the conditioning from. Come on, Mashpat.
What you were saying earlier about how they strip us of our rulership, black men in the household.
Right.
You watch any slavery movie, the white woman knows when to shut the fuck up. Salaki, shut up. She knows her place. But how can I say the black man don't even know his place.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, let's keep reading on where we're at.
He is soundly broken in and ready for a long life of sound and efficient work and the reproduction of a unit of good labor force.
Okay, let's just take a look at the black man today. He's broken in to know that, wherever he gets some work at, he's broken in to I'm just part of this labor force. That's it. Read that again.
He is soundly broken in and ready for a long life of sound and efficient work.
So that's what the black man, he's already conditioned to believe. Once I get a job, I'm already set in. I will keep this slave job that I got. It don't matter how bad this white man is treating me and what he's doing, cutting my hours, whatever, talking shit to me. I'm already conditioned that I have to be part of this labor force. And I'm just going to keep working hard, not saying nothing. Read that again, man. This is deep right here.
He is soundly broken in and ready for a long life of sound and efficient work.
He's already broken in and ready for a long life of sound and broken work. You understand what I'm saying? He's already knowing, I got to work for this white man. I can't complain because if I do say something, they're going to fire me. When I come home, my woman's going to be in my ear. Nigga, why the fuck did you talk up? You should have just shut up. You should have just did your work and we would have been making money. You see what I'm saying? Come on, let's keep going.
And the reproduction of a unit of good labor force.
Keep reading.
Continually through the breaking of the uncivilized savage niggers by throwing the nigger female savage into a frozen psychological state of independency, by killing the protective male image.
Okay, wow, that's deep right there, man. You know, they first of all they calling us savages. You know, the white man is the biggest savage on the face of this earth. You know, he came out of the Caucasus Mountains when he was eating bugs and lice out of his woman's head. You know what I'm saying? He had no rules and no order and no discipline. But they want to come down here and learn how to be civilized. They want to come to the Israelite men and women and learn how to be civilized. They want to come to America and go to the Indians and learn how to be civilized. And now they want to call us savages. The white man is the biggest savage on the face of this earth, man. Keep reading.
And by creating a submissive, dependent mind of the nigger male slave.
So now they wanna establish a submissive nigger mind of the black man. They want the black man to be submissive to him. Read.
We have created an orbiting cycle that turns on its own axis forever.
Keep reading. So this system that they've developed, it's rotating on the same axle forever. It just keeps repeating itself. It's being handed down from generation to generation. The black woman is teaching the black man, shut your mouth, don't be strong. You ain't the leader. I'm the leader of the family. I rule this stuff. You don't run nothing, you know. And he's making them feel emasculated. This is a tradition that just keeps recycling itself. Okay, read. Wait, well, hold on. Get a sister. Get the mic over here. She got a question. Pass that mic back. Just keep it on when you pass it back.
Being a single mom and raising a young man, a lot of times we didn't know that was what we were doing. We just did it because we wanted our son to stay alive. We just wanted him to come home because we knew he was going to get pulled over by the police, driving with no tags, no registration, and no license. We just wanted him to get home. So we didn't do it thinking like we're raising somebody weak. We were raising him in love, thinking, I just want him to come home tonight, even if he is breaking.
Yeah, that's right. But see, that's where the mental conditioning came in. You see, that's what they were trying to teach. That's the psychological warfare that they did on the black woman to raise her son in a way that I just want you to come home alive. You see what I'm saying? So don't say nothing to white when you get pulled over. Don't say nothing when you get pulled over by the police. Just say, yes, sir. Keep your hands up. Don't make no sudden move. So that's the conditioning that they put on the black woman to train her black son. They train her black son to not think for yourself. You understand what I'm saying? Not do what you feel like doing. Whatever is on your, just keep your mouth shut. Go out and get a job and work for this white man, and he'll protect you. And that's the exact reason why, because of the woman's natural instinct of wanting to protect her child. You understand what I'm saying? That's what this is all about. Come on, read.
Unless General Yohana Salakia, unless a phenomenon occurs and reshifts the position of the male and female savages.
Keep reading.
We show what we mean by example. Take the case of the two economic slave units and examine them closely.
Are we still in the highlighted areas? Okay, keep reading.
The Negro marriage unit. We breed two nigger males with two nigger females.
Okay, so now they're talking about how we gonna, it's getting even deeper. How we gonna produce slaves? Okay, we take two nigger males and two nigger females. Read.
Then we take the nigger males away from them.
So now we take the nigger males away from them. Read.
And keep them moving and working.
Now we keep them moving and working. Read.
Say the nigger male female bears a nigger female, and the other bears a nigger male.
Okay, so now you got 2 nigger females and 2 nigger males, and you pair them up and you let them have kids. One of the females, now they take the men away. The woman is pregnant. Now they take the men away. Now the 2 women, one of them has a nigger male as a boy, and one of them has a nigger female, which is a girl. Read.
Both nigger females being without influence of the nigger male image, frozen with an independent psychology.
Okay, so now you got the two women, the one woman that has the female daughter. Now she doesn't have the man anymore in the household. Okay, read that again.
Both nigger females being without influence of the nigger male.
Okay, so now both of the women don't have influence over the man. The man doesn't have influence on that family anymore because they put the 2 nigger men and the 2 nigger woman together, and they got the nigger women pregnant. Okay, now they took the men away. Now neither one of them women have influence over the man. The man does not. I'm sorry. The man does not have influence over the family at this point. Okay, keep reading.
Frozen with an independent psychology will raise their offspring into reverse position.
Okay, so now the woman, because they took the men away, all they did was get her pregnant. One of them has a girl, one of the women has a boy, but they took the men away. So there's no influence with the man in the household now. So now the woman is put in this independent state. Okay, now she's going to raise them kids the way that she feels is the best way to do it. Okay, and being conditioned, she's going to raise them to shut your mouth, don't say nothing. I run this shit here. This is my house. I pay the bills. I pay the cost to be the boss. You know, you just do what I tell you to do. You know, I'm up in this nigga's face, nigga, and they see me being up in the nigga's face, and they think that's the strength of a man. So they think that that's the way that I'm supposed to be strong, is being up in this nigga's face, running my goddamn mouth. And these are the things that a man, the boy, sees the woman doing, and this is what the daughter sees the mother doing as well, because now they're independent. Read.
The one with the female offspring will teach her to be like herself.
So now the woman with the daughter will teach her to be like herself. You don't need no man. You know, what do you need a man for? You can go out and get a job. You can pay these bills on your own. You don't need no nigga telling you what to do. So she's teaching her daughter to be just like her. Okay, read.
Independent and negotiable.
Independent and negotiable. Read.
We negotiate with her through her.
So now the white man says we negotiate with her now. We don't even have to deal with the man no more, because if we have to negotiate with the man, it's going to be a whole new thing. But now let's get the man out the picture. We don't even need to deal with the man. Now let's deal with the woman, because we've already broke her in to be submissive to everything that we want her to do. You see what I'm saying? Now they're going to negotiate with her because he knows the fear that she has, you know, knowing what he can do, and she doesn't want that happening to her children. Okay, read. This is deep, man. You know, this psychological warfare is deep. Keep reading.
We negotiate with her, through her, by her, and negotiate her at will. The one with the nigger male offspring, she being frozen with a subconscious fear for his life. Okay,
so now the woman that has the boy, now she has this fear for his life. She doesn't want her son to die. Just like the sister said, you know, we don't want our kids. We want our kids to come home at night. We're afraid that he's going to die on the street because we know what the white man is capable of doing. You see? So now she's got the one that raises the boy. Now she's fearing for her son's life. Read.
Will raise him to be mentally, she being frozen with a subconscious fear for his life will raise him to be mentally dependent and weak.
So now she raises her son to be mentally dependent and weak. Mentally dependent means to be dependent on this white man to save him, to be dependent on this white man to give him a job, and to be weak, not to speak up for yourself. Read.
But physically strong.
But physically strong. Work hard. Be strong, but don't think for yourself. Read.
In other words, body over mind.
Keep reading.
Now in a few years, when these two offspring become fertile for early reproduction, we will mate and breed them and continue the cycle that is good, sound, and long-range comprehensive planning. Okay, so this is the white man's long-term comprehensive planning for his economics in here in America. Okay, now I could probably do a whole series on the rape and torture and murder of slaves during this time, but I just wanted to, go over this psychological, how the white man uses psychological warfare to take control of us. Okay, so psychological trauma blacks experienced during that time, and how blacks were treated less than human by the white man, who is a wicked monster. And that's all I wanted to show you in this right now. Okay, that this white man psychological, he's a master in this. Okay, what I'm saying. So let's drop that. Let's go to did we ever do Habakkuk 2:12? Let's go back to that again. Habakkuk 2:12. Habakkuk 2:12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and establisheth a city by iniquity.
Okay, what are some of the white man's iniquities that he uses to establish his cities? Come on. Well, matter of fact, before I ask that question, let's get the definition of who could tell me what established means? Who knows what established means? You know what established means? Yeah, to complete. Exactly. Okay.
That's my boy.
Okay, so now what are some of the wickednesses that the white man uses to complete his cities? Get the sister the mic over here. Turn it on.
I would think the number one thing would be money.
Exactly. That is the number one thing. Taxes. Taxes is something that the white man uses to establish his cities. What else? What else? No, just go ahead. Slavery could be something. What else? Jail. What else we got? What about abortions? The justice system, homosexuality, holidays, the pharmaceutical companies with these drugs. Come on. Fear. Come
people eating shrimp, crab, and pork.
There you go. And not only that, genetically modified food, drugs and alcohol, everything that is set up in America to establish its cities is centered around America making money. Okay? All right, somebody give me 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 10. First Timothy chapter 6 and verse 10.
1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 10. For the love of money is the root of all evil.
For the love of money is the root of all evil. Everything that happens in America today, everything is centered around making money. Everything that the Americans, everything that the leadership does, everything that the government does today is all centered around making money. The scripture says the love of money, keep reading,
which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith.
So some of us coveted after. That means when we covet, that means that we're lusting after it. We want to have that because we see what the white man has. We see that he has that big house. We see that he has a good job and a nice car and good clothes and jewelry and, brand name stuff. And we covet after that because we're lusting after what he has. And we lose our faith. Okay? Read.
And pierce themselves through with many sorrows.
So now you're going to pierce yourself with many sorrows because you keep trying to chase after this money and you can't get it, and you're just going to keep going through sorrows trying to get this money. What I was just like looking at some of the people that become the blacks that become successful here in America today when they grow up living in the ghettos. And then they leave the ghettos because they got a good job, or they made some money, or they become an entertainer, a basketball star, or what have you, or they just have something that can sustain them where they can live a better life, and they leave out of the communities and they move into these white communities. And they say, you know what? I made it out of the ghetto. You make it out of the ghetto. Instead of keeping your money in the community, they want to take their money into another community and try to build that white community up. You won't keep it into your community. You're like, your attitude is like, well, I made it out of there. Well, you know what? Bye. Fuck y'all. You make it out. If I could do it, you could do it. You see, their goal is to make it out of the slums, instead of trying to, use what they've done to build up the communities. They rather just do what they've done and move out of the communities and then be part of that white community. You understand? And call themselves giving back to that community. You're not giving back to the community that you were raised in. You see what I'm saying? All right. So, is that in on that? 1 Timothy 6 and 10? Okay, so on January 1st of 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, okay, which was an executive order issued by President Abraham Lincoln that changed the federal legal status of slaves from slave to free, okay? At that time, the cotton slave owners controlled the economy of the South, which meant that they also controlled the government and the laws in the South, because everybody that had the money back then, they controlled what laws were being passed and how Congress was going to rule on certain bills, okay? Now that they had no more slaves to work their cotton fields, their cotton businesses were turned upside down at this point, okay? The fields had been burned, the cotton gins, had been destroyed. Equipment that was necessary to produce cotton didn't exist anymore. Now, that resulted in a loss of capital for the people who controlled the economy in the South. Okay. Emancipation now turned their whole world upside down. Now that the black people who the white slave masters once owned were entitled to receive the fruits of their labors, and this was a threat on the white Southern economy. Now a black man had the ability to look another white man in the eyes and demand for equal respect, and they weren't used to that. And this challenged everything the white man believed in to the core of his soul. He did not want to have any respect for no black man whatsoever. At this time, an estimated of 8 million whites lived in poverty and never owned any slaves. And about 1/3 of them were illiterate. So we talking about these white people. They didn't own those slaves and they couldn't even read. Those poor whites are the ones who were seeing blacks moving in around freely. They were moving in and buying things and doing things to better themselves and their conditions. And they viewed blacks as their competitors at this time. All right, this is what the poor whites. They left more black. They felt the more the blacks gained, the more that the poor whites would lose. Okay, so give me Proverbs chapter 1 and verse 16.
Proverbs chapter 1, verse 16. For their feet run to evil and make haste to shed blood.
Okay, so, and of course, since the white man loves to kill, the poor whites started forming vigilante groups. Okay, groups to start intimidating and attacking. Read that again.
Proverbs chapter 1, verse 16. For their feet run to evil and make haste to shed blood.
Okay, this is talking about the white man. Okay, he runs towards evil and he makes haste to shed blood. That means that making haste means you don't wait. He doesn't wait to shed blood. You know, the poor whites started forming vigilante groups to start intimidating, attacking blacks at this time. Okay, killings, hangings, and murders towards black people, it was very rampant during this time. Whites didn't hesitate to run to do evil, to shed blood of black people. Okay, then on January 31st of 1964, the 13th Amendment was passed in the House of Representatives, which officially ended the institution of slavery and involuntary servitude, except if a man was punished for a crime and was put to jail. Okay, that was the condition. That was the loophole right there to keep slavery going. Okay, now the Reconstruction era came. During the Reconstruction era, they became which was an attempt to create a country that would have a multiracial citizenship, is what they were trying to do. Okay, but you still had a tremendous amount of white Southern resistance. They didn't want blacks to be part of their communities. Okay, during the Reconstruction era, blacks could vote. Blacks could be holding seats in political arenas. Blacks were in the Senate and in the House of Representatives. Blacks were becoming judges and lawmakers and so forth. However, the support for blacks was becoming less and less, and the violence towards blacks started increasing. Okay, they didn't want blacks because they started seeing blacks coming up and being prosperous and having own businesses and so forth. Then after the Reconstruction era, the nature of crime and punishment changed dramatically after this point. Okay, new laws began targeting blacks and effectively criminalizing blacks. So they started making new laws, like the Jim Crow laws started coming into effect. You know, if a black man didn't have a job, he can get arrested for vagrancy. If he didn't have a place to live, he could get arrested for vagrancy. If he was looking at a white woman the wrong way, he can get arrested for looking at a white woman the wrong way. You know, if he was walking too close to a railroad track, he can get arrested for walking too close to a railroad track. So they enacted all these laws to criminalize black men, okay, because they knew We didn't have no job. So you know what? Go talk to that black man right there and see if he got a job. If not, throw his ass in jail. Because now we can put him back in slavery again. Because all we have to do is we have to arrest him for a crime and lock him up. Now he's a slave again. Okay? What, you got something? Oh, okay. Then was this was the birth of the Jim Crow laws, which was not only targeted, it didn't just only targeted blacks, but it promoted segregation as well. These laws continued and stayed effective, and the segregation laws stayed effective all the way up until the 1960s. There was segregation. Okay. Now Martin Luther King came, and he's talking about, I had a dream that we can all come together. So there were laws that were established that made it a crime for a black man to, like I said, walk next to railroad tracks and do all these other things. You couldn't even speak loudly in the company of a white woman. You couldn't do these things. These were the Jim Crow laws, and they were using these laws to keep locking black men up. It was a crime to sell products of your farm after dark. So if a black man, he was a sharecropper and he was trying to make money, and if he's not back in his house, but he's still out there on the street trying to sell his products, his corn or whatever, his wheat, and it's after dark, that's a crime. Just for the black man, though, not for the white man. He could be out there selling his crops all day long. You got a question?
Sir, I have a question about the statement. Martin Luther King didn't have a dream. He read the Bible.
What do you mean?
He found that out the Bible.
He found what out the Bible?
He came and taught me. I have a dream.
No. Martin Luther King, he was a coon-ass Christian black man. He didn't understand the Bible. Yeah, he didn't understand the Bible at all. Okay. So when we go back into these Jim Crow laws, people were getting arrested for all kinds of things. Anything from spitting on the street to being drunk in public, loitering. These would be results of being arrested and confined into prison, because they knew if we could put this black man in prison, we can keep him in slavery. Okay. So there was an over exaggeration of black criminality at this time. Everything that, they made all these laws to make it seem like the black man was a criminal, just because, a white woman walks by and we talking shit to each other. Oh, wait a minute. We talking too loud around this white woman. Arrest all 4 of these niggas for talking too loud. You see what I'm saying? So they were over criminalizing us at this time. Okay. One of the most infamous set of laws that allowed many blacks to be arrested in the prison was the vagrancy laws. Okay. They were arresting so many black men for vagrancy. Vagrancy was if you didn't have a job, or if you didn't have a place to live, they would arrest you for vagrancy. You understand what I'm saying? Now, where's a black man supposed to live when he's just coming out of slavery and he ain't got no money? Nobody will hire him for a job. What's the nigga supposed to do but build a tent in the goddamn woods and live in there? But if they find him in there, they're going to put him in jail. You understand? So a black man had to prove at any given time that he had a job, or a place to live. If he couldn't do that, he was considered a vagrant and he was put in jail. Now, at this time, blacks are being jailed and imprisoned at an alarming rate. They were locking black men up, for any little thing. All right. Now, let's go to Isaiah 42 and 22. And we're going to see in the Bible why this is going on. Con, give him the mic.
Isaiah chapter 42, verse 22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled.
Okay, so this is a people robbed and spoiled. This is talking about blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. We are a people that's been robbed and spoiled. Read.
They are all of them snared in holes.
We're snared in holes. Read.
And they are hid in prison houses.
So this is what they want to do. They want to snare us in all these traps that they have for us, all these laws that they put together to make it seem like we're criminals. They snare us in all these holes. Those are the holes that they snare us in. You know, they say you don't have a place to live. Well, you know what? You're a criminal. We're going to lock you up for vagrancy. You know, you don't talk too loud when this woman walked by. You know what, nigga, you a criminal, man. We're going to lock you up. You know, these are the snares in the, and they keep us in these houses. Read. We are a prey. They look at us for a prey because, you know, they couldn't keep us enslaved anymore through the Emancipation Proclamation. So now they have to find ways to prey on us to get us back in that condition again. So we are their prey. Read.
And none be liberated.
Read.
For a spoil, and none said, restore.
Okay, so now why is white America targeting blacks? Okay, if we look back at the 13th Amendment, it says slavery is abolished, which means that there's no more slavery exists except as a punishment for crime. So that's why, you know, this gives the white man some wiggle room, you know, to extend slavery. This gives him a loophole to keep us in the slavery, but just call it by another, but you know, they just call it by another name. They call it institutionalized, or they call it, you know, now they're saying that we're criminals, so they put us in prison. You got a question?
No, Jacquees Nicholas he said, with all due respect, did God create mankind to compete with each other?
Did God create mankind to compete with each other? What does that have to do with this topic right here? Ask, you know, just type in there, what does this have to do with the topic right here? I'm not understanding how that relates to this topic. Okay. So when we talk about, you know, the crime and locking black men up, this gives the white man some wiggle room to extend slavery. Okay, but just call it something else. Now he's not calling slavery, he's calling it, you know, criminals. Okay, now the white man created what was called the convict leasing program. Okay, where the prisons would lease out prisoners at a ridiculous low rate to white business owners. Okay, and this is still going on today. Okay, and these owners, these business owners, they own industries. The prisons would lease out the prisoners for labor. Okay, industries like cotton farms, corn farms, lumber mills, steel plants, coal mines, railroad companies, factories. This is just a few of the companies that prisoners used to get leased out to. So when you went to prison, if you own, let's say you own a cotton farm, you can lease out 100 niggas that's in prison, and you can lease them out for pennies, to work your farms. Okay, so you know now the prisoners became a new source of profit and revenue for the white business owners, just like at one time slaves were a source of profit and revenue for the white slave masters. Okay, now these white industry owners didn't have to worry about lack of bodies for labor or labor disputes because they could work these prisoners like slaves. And actually, they could work them in even worse conditions than they were in slavery, because the slave masters didn't want to kill their slaves before, because it would decrease their labor force, which would decrease their revenue. But with the convict leasing, you could work a man to death and then just turn around and lease another man out. See, when they had their own slaves, they had to be a little bit more protective of their slaves. They didn't want to work them to death. But now with the convict leasing, you know, you're paying the same amount of money. So if this man dies while he's working on your farm, you know what? Just give me another man to replace him. Okay. Now, you know, they were doing sweeps all over the South to round up as many blacks for any little thing, okay, because they wanted to get them in these prisons, okay, whether it was a dice game, spitting, whatever. not moving on the sidewalk when a white person passed you, being too mouthy or uppity or fighting, whatever they wanted to use to arrest you, they would. You name it, they would find a reason to arrest blacks for anything. They would even trump up charges against a black man and charge him with something he didn't do. Okay, so convict leasing now became a new form of economic development in the South. And the expansion of the criminal justice system. All right. Now, you know what? I might have to do a second half on this because I'm just like touching the surface here because we went so deep into how to establish slavery. Okay. And my throat is getting kind of sore right now from talking. So what I'm going to do is we're going to end this class and I'm going to do a part 2 next week. And we're going to continue this. And I'm going to turn the class over to Trooper Mashupat.